Siberia is a place of pure intrigue, but is far too often overshadowed. Siberia lies in the midst of Russia, primarily in the northern Asian geolocation of the country. Despite accounting for 77% of the total landmass of Russia, only 23% of the Russian population inhabit Siberia. Because it is such an ancient land, it hides countless archaeological mysteries beneath its vast soil. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 incredible Siberian discoveries. Female Amazon warrior buried 2,500 years ago in the Altai Mountains was male. Siberia is the place of archaeological dreams, with an abundance of discoveries made constantly. Yet brand new DNA research shows that one of the most famous human remains uncovered on Siberian soil, thought for ages to have belonged to a female warrior, is actually a male skeleton. Initially, both archaeologists as well as anthropologists thought the corpse to have been a girl, a teenage girl with pigtails. They wholeheartedly believed her to be one of the elite warriors of the long-gone Pazyryk culture. The Pazyryk culture has been compared to the infamous Amazons from ancient Hellenic legends, as the two cultures had an immense amount in common from historical and mythological sources available to us. The remains of the warrior were examined by a Swiss expert in taxidermy named Marcel Niffennager, who managed to reconstruct what their face might have looked like when they were alive using the facial bones, only to realize the skeletal recreation had seemingly masculine features. The remains were buried beside the tomb of an older male. Archaeologists assumed that the two might have been father and daughter buried side by side. The older man's corpse was buried with battle axes, bows and arrowheads, whereas the warrior seemed to have been an archer and horse rider, but that was not all the warrior was buried with. Alongside war implements, there were cowrie shells, a rarity in Pazyryk burials, but this implied the body was that of a young woman, as the shells were thought to represent female fertility. Other things in the burial mound included a wooden sort of pillow, quivers, and even 9 horse remains that were found accompanying the corpse, meant to serve in the underworld. Now that the way archaeology is being tested, especially when it comes to DNA analysis, the tests showed that the body is not female as initially believed, but rather that of a biological man. This research was led by the Institute of Archaeology and Ethnography from the Russian Academy of Sciences, combined with the Novosibirsk State University. It appears upon further research that the older man was not a father, but more like an uncle. The elusive warrior's cause of death has yet to be determined. Further analysis is planned on being conducted on the remains and the circumstances surrounding the burial, in the hopes of uncovering more about the individual lives of these long-gone people, as well as to discover more about the Pazyryk culture. Warrior's 3,900-year-old suit of bone armor unearthed in Omsk. An extraordinary discovery was made in Omsk when archaeologists unearthed a full set of bone armor in near pristine condition. Bone armor in the past was viewed as something worn by elite warriors who proved their worth in battle. It was incredibly sturdy and strong compared to the contemporary alternatives for the era it was worn in. Experts phrased it as it was more precious than life because it saved life. The armor was not buried alongside the warrior who adorned it, and it is the only current battle dress found in or around Omsk. This armor did not belong to the Pazyryk culture. It was likely used as the Samos-Seminskaya culture, or Krotov culture, that resided in the western forested areas of Siberia. This armor may have also been used as an exchange between cultures, warriors, or tribal leaders, gifted to someone, or even may have been a spoil of war, as was common during those times. It is unique first of all because such armor was highly valued. It saved life. Secondly, it was found in a settlement, and this has never happened before. There were found separate fragments in burials, like on Rostovka burial ground, said Boris Konnikov, an archaeologist curator. At this time, researchers are still uncertain about what animal or animals the bones belonged to. The bone armor was discovered deep within the ground, measuring down to 1.5 meters below the earth. A restoration is being performed on the armor set in hopes of restoring it to its former glory. so that it may last us for many more centuries to come. Boris Konnikov has admitted that he and every other archaeologist involved was excited for the project. We ourselves cannot wait to see it, but at the moment it is undergoing restoration, which is a long, painstaking process. As a result, we hope to reconstruct an exact copy. Yuri Gerasimov, another researcher from the university's Institute of Archaeology, said that though there is no outward evidence to suggest the place where the bone armor was found was a place of worship, that is his theory, saying the following: "While there is no indication that the place of discovery of the armor was a place of worship, it is very likely. Armor had great material value. There was no sense to dig it in the ground or hide it for a long time, because the fixings and the bones would be ruined. Such armor needs constant care. At the moment we can only fantasize who dug it into the ground and for what purpose. Was it for some ritual or sacrifice? We do not know yet." The bone plates were slightly damaged and shattered, but that is to be expected with something so painstakingly ancient and awe-inspiring. Restoration efforts are being made to clean these fragmented pieces of bone, photograph and sketch them with their location, and fix them together into a full, perfect plate. Scientists, historians, and archaeologists agree that the person to whom the armor belonged had surely been a hero of sorts, either a renowned warrior of his civilization or someone proficient in protecting others, and was so beloved that the armor was gifted to him. The site itself is home to countless other wondrous findings, primarily from the early Neolithic period up until the Middle Ages, with an abundance of weaponry, bone and stone arrowheads, spears tipped with bronze axes, and bronze knives. This area seemed to have been significantly populated during the Bronze Age. The excavation site lies beside the Irtish River, whose owner is the Popov-Omsk radio factory. This factory, however, passionately supports further archaeological research and encourages more findings. Our goal is to save the site, to research it, and to promote it. "3,000-year-old brain surgery Siberia." At the burial ground at Anshevsky Archaeological Site, southeast of Kansk, in the Krasnoyarsk region, archaeologists unearthed the skeletal remains of a male who seemed to have had brain surgery. The patient was between 30 and 40 years old at the time of death, and the markings on his skull, archaeologists claim, are not those of spiritual practices, but an attempt at surgical intercession. Furthermore, it is vastly believed by scientists involved that there is proof that the patient not only survived the surgery, but lived for a while afterwards. The skeleton's skull had a partial bone opening on the left side of the head with signs of bone healing. There were also traces of what experts believe to be an inflammatory reaction on the plates of the skull bones, further proving the theory that the patient did not only survive, but lived for at least a portion of time after the operation. This had to be the case in order for the wound to begin to adequately heal, though it's thought that he died of long-term inflammation inherently caused by the surgery. The culture of the male subject is unknown, but it is thought that the unknown culture may have been similar to the Karasuk culture. In the Bronze Age, an early form of surgery did occur. From what we know, it involved having the patient enter an altered state of mind, so the pain would not be focused upon. Various herbs and plants would be used as painkillers in antiquity, and the usage of psychedelics in ancient cultures is not unheard of, though hemp is what scientists believed was used by the people of this region. Surgery was likely somewhat ceremonial, if only to distract the patient from the upcoming agony they would otherwise suffer through, and would have involved the usage of dancing, drum music, and consumptions of psychedelics or flora meant to ease the pain. The team working on the archaeology cases claims that the surgeon made an incision and an assistant would have helped them by stretching out the skin at the wound's edges to open up the area for medical instruments to enter it with ease. A similar skull dissection was talked about in the books written by Hippocrates in ancient Greece, which were written and performed about 6 centuries after this surgery. As such, it was a practice indeed performed in ancient cultures. We cannot definitively state that this operation was carried out with a specialized instrument. Nevertheless, some sort of medical instruments existed in Siberia and were widely used for post-mortem manipulations. These same instruments may have been applied for trepanation, said Dr. Slepchenko, a researcher involved in the discovery. He suggests a scraper was used and not a knife. We may only imagine the wonders lying beneath the Siberian soil. The future of archaeological findings is bright and full of the utmost potential. But what do you make of these 3 interesting discoveries that Siberia has uncovered? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.